Hello everybody and welcome to this video. My name is Nouri Radwan. I am a concept artist from Algeria and you are tuned to photomanipulation.com. This video is going to be both speed art and a tutorial. Expect to see advanced tips and tricks and powerful techniques. I guarantee you after watching this video, your volcanic scene will be improved a lot. And without any further ado, let's start. The first thing that you will notice that this video is sped up. But don't worry because it's not going to be in this speed all along. It's going to be sped up only on the techniques that I have already explained before in previous videos that you can watch later. And when we get to the tips or the techniques that need to be explained, I will slow the video and explain them more in depth. Just a quick note about the background music. I don't add background music to my videos because of religious reasons. However, if you like to watch videos like this with a background music, you can always open a new tab or open another app and play music in your phone or your computer while you are watching this video. Or if you would like to keep this video playing and come back every time I start to explain the techniques. With that being said, I will be adding the keyboard strokes on the screen every time I use a shortcut for a technique. All of the stock images used in this artwork and the mentioned videos are going to be in the description down below. And let's start with the first technique. To cut the volcano from this image, I duplicated the image and I turned it to black and white. Then I went to image menu and I clicked on apply image. The first one is going to be multiply blending mode to add darkness to the background. And the second and third one is going to be on screen blender mode. That's just to add some of brightness to the volcano itself. And then I used levels menu to add just a bit of contrast. And then I used that black and white image as a mask to the volcano image. The reason why I just don't copy the image as it is and turn it to screen blender mode in the artwork, because it limits your editing, because in case you add lightness to the image, it will bring up that black background. Now to cut this volcano explosion smoke right here, what I did is the same. I duplicate the image, I turn it to black and white, and then I try to make everything in the image white except for the smoke that I want to cut, and that's by using the dodge tool. Then I go to color channels and I control click the RGB channel to select the bright areas on the image, and I use the apply image to make them brighter. Then I inverse the selection. And this time I use apply image to multiply to make the explosion itself darker. Then using the lasso tool and the brush and the select and mask, I try to work on the edges of the explosion or the smoke. That's by selecting them and turn them to white or fill them with white. Then I use levels to add contrast. And then I try to make the explosion even darker by using the burn tool or the brush or even the color channels. You can use any technique that you like, as long as you get the idea, that is to make the explosion black and the rest of the image white, and then inverse them and use them as a mask to cut the explosion from the original image. To cut lava from this image, what I did is I went to the color channels. I clicked on the red channel, then I clicked Ctrl A to select the canvas, and then Ctrl C to copy. Then I went back, added an empty layer, then clicked on Ctrl A again, but this time I clicked Ctrl V to paste. That will paste the red channel on a new layer. And then I try to add contrast to make the colors of the lava brighter than the rest of the image. The reason why I chose the red channel is because on the red channel, the colors yellow and magenta and red will be brighter than the rest of the colors in that image. Using levels to add the contrast in this technique will be enough. And then I Ctrl A to select the canvas of that black and white image, Ctrl C to copy, and then I go back to the original image. I add a mask to it. I Alt click on the mask to enter it, and then I click Ctrl V to paste, and that will make that black and white image as a mask on that original image. Now it's ready to use in the artwork. After that, I paste that lava cut on my artwork, and then I scaled it down, and then start to change the different location of the separate parts of that lava image, and then start put them on the volcano on my artwork as if they were coming out from that volcano. For the volcano fire reflection on the smoke, what I did is I duplicated the smoke layer and I put it all the way up to the top. I added a gradient map to it and I checked reverse. And what you will try to do here is to get a reflection of the lava and make sure the brightest point on that map is orange going to yellow, and the second one beside it is going to be red. Make sure they are both bright, not too bright. Make sure the red one is a little bit darker, around 60 to 70, and the orange one around 70 to 90. On this part in the artwork, I did a mistake. That is, I made the other points 50% gray, and I was supposed to make them black, so don't make that mistake. And I will explain it later in the video with the black points. Then I start to change the blending modes from overlay till the hard mix, till I find the perfect one. Then I go back to the gradient to make sure the yellow color is back, to restore the yellow color. Then I clicked on that gradient map layer 2 times to use the blend if technique to turn that gray color to a transparent color. Then I turn the mask to black color and start to paint white with the soft brush on the closer area to the explosion. Then I merge the layers together and I add a black background beneath them. I added a selective color adjustment layer and went to neutrals and increased black, and then went to black color and increased the black as well. That added the contrast that I was looking for. Then I merged the smoke layer with the selective color layer and with a black background and that color, I turned the blending mode to screen. And that's about it. And for the smoke, just turn the image to black and white immediately without duplicating the original image, because we want the smoke to be black and white anyway. And then with levels, add contrast till you see that the background is completely black and the smoke is the bright object or the bright element in that image. Then with the gradient transparent color or the brush tool, try to get rid of that ground details or the ground texture. Now I add black background and I merge it with the smoke layer. Then Control A, Control C and use the image as a mask and apply it. Then use Control U, which is the hue and saturation, and add lightness. Now we have it as a transparent background. You can use the eraser to start fixing the edges. And now it's ready to use in your artwork. I control clicked on the lava layer and then I went to the select menu, go to modify and click on contract. Shows the pixels value depends on your image size. And then I added feather to it. And then I filled it with a yellowish color. And to give that color a lava texture, I added a mask. Remove the connection between the mask and the image and fill it with black. Then go to filter, render, click on difference cloud. Then click on Ctrl Alt F to repeat the filter. Then Ctrl I to invert it. Then Ctrl L to add the contrast. Now click on Ctrl Alt F again to repeat the filter. And then invert it again and add other filter, and that will give you a texture that's close to a lava texture. Click Ctrl T for free transformation. Decrease the scale of the mask that we just created and place it wherever you want. Then use the eraser to erase that sharp edge. Now click and hold Ctrl, then click on the mask. That will select the bright areas of the mask. Then invert it so it's only selecting the dark areas. Then using the move tool, click and hold Alt and start moving it all around that yellow paint. Now we have that texture that looks like a lava texture. If you are getting value from this video and you like the tips and tricks and techniques that I'm explaining, you can find more in my digital landscape reloaded course, where I explain more tips and tricks like this more in depth and without a sped up videos. The link is going to be down in the description, and let's carry on with the video. To make the two hobbits, what I did is I used different stock images. For example, these two soldiers that you are seeing on the screen right now, I liked the capes or the cloaks that they were wearing. I cut these two soldiers using the select objects tool that works with the AI. To make them look small, what I did is I got two other stock images of two people that were looking forward, and I cut their heads and I made their heads look big or bigger than the body. Doing that will give the impression or the look that these two are small, because if you have seen the movie Hobbits or Lord of the Rings, the Hobbits are people in small bodies with big heads. So if you add the big head, that will make them look small. Then I added these two old backpacks, just trying to match the style of the movie. There's really nothing special that you can learn in this process, because it's all fixing the values and fixing the colors as I used to explain in my old videos. I will say that the hardest part in this process is getting the images together, or what I should call the composition of it, because this depends on your imagination more than the skills or the techniques. So just use your imagination with this part. As I told you before, there is a better way to do the volcano explosion reflection on the smoke. Open the smoke image in a new document and then add a gradient map adjustment layer. Make sure the bright color is on the left side and the dark color is on the right side. Make the brightest slide or the brightest color orange, and the color after it or beside it, make it red, just like you see in the screen right now. So this is red, dark red, and bright orange. And when I say bright, it doesn't have to be 100% on the bright or the brightness. Make it around 19 to 70. And with the red color, make it around 70, 60. And make sure the other colors are black. Start moving the slides of the orange and the red till you get the best result of a fire reflection on a smoke. When you finish, merge the layers together and paint with black on the ground and the other details that we don't need. Then go to the color channels and select the green channel. And then use the green channel as a mask to the original image. Then apply it and take it to your artwork and paste it above the smoke. After you get the best location or the best position of the smoke on the cloud, You can change the color of it after changing the blending mode to screen. Use the Control P, which is the control or the color balance menu, sorry, to match the color of that fire with the fire of the volcano. For the asteroids, I got the stock image and I duplicate the image. I inverse it using the Control I, and then with the Control L, which is levels, I add contrast till I can use this image as a mask for the original image. And by that, that means I make the rocks white and the backgrounds black. Then I add blur to the mask because, as you can see, I left with that white strokes around the rocks, and then use the levels again to get rid of that white strokes. I made them darker with the Control U, which is hue and saturation. And what I'm going to do now, or what I'm going to try to do now, is I'm going to add the lava texture above them, add an empty layer and fill it with orange color. I added a mask to that color, the orange color, and I did the same techniques as before with the lava texture. That gave us a good results. Now with the Control B color balance, I try to make the colors volcanic, if that makes sense. Now I need you to focus with me. I'm going to duplicate the layer and I'm going to click Control and hold it, then select the first one and add the mask. That will make the mask tight, and I did this the same with the second one. But for the second one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the original image and add blur to it. I'm going to use that as the lava reflection on the rocks. So I'm going to decrease the density of the mask of the texture on the first layer. Then I'm going to select it and add a color balance with the same mask. I'm going to blur that mask, add a lot of blur to it, so it can spread all around the rocks, and make it brighter with the Control L. Then I'm going to add more blur to it. Then click on the color balance and add red and magenta on the midtones and yellow on the highlights. I'm going to make the mask brighter. Then I'm going to turn the blending mode to screen. And what will that do is it's going to add the bloom effect for that lava. It will make it look like that yellow lines are bright and causing that lens flare effect or that bloom effect. Then I copy the whole image and I take it to the artwork, and using the puppet warp tool, I try to place the rocks on different locations. After a lot of failed attempts to add the bright stroke or the smoke trail of the asteroids, it seemed like none of these techniques gave me the realistic results that I was looking for. I was about to give up on it. Then I was looking for other stock images, and then I found this image, which was the solution for my problem. That's correct. I'm going to use this image as the trail or the bright stroke of the asteroids, because the shape of that explosion that's coming from the volcano looked perfect for a trail or a asteroid fire. So I used the same techniques as before to cut it from its own image or the original image. And I took that shape and pasted it on my artwork, duplicate it, turn it to screen blending mode, added the blue color to it, and it looked perfect. This is the end of this video. If you got value from this tutorial, please show us that by clicking on the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on our social medias. If you like to learn more tips and tricks and techniques like this in depth and without a sped up video, make sure to get my digital landscape reloaded course. The link is going to be down in the description. I will see you in the next videos. Peace.